What's going on, chicken friends? It's Donna Little from the Coop Scoop, and I thought I'd give you guys an update on how things are going between the big girls, my hens, and the pullets. They are 15 weeks old now, and I've had several people ask, how they were getting along and if I have taken the brooder pen down yet and fully integrated everybody. So, first of all, everybody's doing fantastic. I made a video probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I left off when they were 11 weeks old, and the video was basically how I integrate 2 flocks of chickens, young ones with older established flock of hens, and I'll link that down in the comments, so if you guys missed that, you can watch that. But I left off when they were 11 weeks old. The week after that, the week that they were 11 weeks, I let them out every single day for a little bit at a time, off and on, but I wanted to be able to be out here with them because they weren't really that big, and I was a little bit worried, that they would be hawk bait because they definitely look smaller than my hens. But then also, just because I wanted to make sure that the big girls were being good with them. Everything was going great with them. They put on a little bit of size, and so when they were 12 weeks old, I just started letting them out with the big girls in the morning, and they free ranged all day long with them, and that has gone well. I have been also every night letting them put themselves back up because I want them, ready and trained to do that, and they've done really well with that. There's been a couple nights I haven't been able to do it because I needed to go to get something done, so I had to usher them in myself, but it's kind of funny. There have been a few nights, they'll usually start putting themselves up at about 7:15, and there's been a few nights that some of the big girls, the hens, have been in their brooder pen because if you haven't seen any of my videos, our brooder pen is like 6 foot by 6 foot, and so they'll walk in and go into the brooder pen, and then the youngsters come in and they're like, I don't know about this, and then they'll come back out and stand around the front, like, I can't go in there, so I've had to sort of intervene and stop that. But they have been, putting themselves up at night and doing really well with that. I have not taken the brooder pen down yet, though. Even though things have gone really well out here in the yard, it's still really sort of typical because the youngsters don't really hang out with the hens, and that's going to take a few months. They're out here and they might be close to each other. They love to lay up by the house, and the big girls will all be, laying down, and the youngsters will be maybe a couple feet away, but they're not hanging out together. They're still doing they're all like one little group, and then the big girls are their own group. That's, totally to be expected, but I've not had them contained together yet at all, and the main reason that I haven't done it is, first of all, normally I wait until they're about 16 weeks old. The last 2 groups of chicks that I've gotten last year and the year before, I was able to integrate the 2 flocks sooner, and I think it was because just the groups that I had, they all just really got along well, and I didn't have as many hens then. So I have more hens now. There's 18 hens to the 8 pullets, but I was able to integrate my last 2 groups at 14 weeks, and it went great. I had absolutely no problem. This time, though, my hens are all molting. I think I have 1 hen right now that isn't molting. I went out there this morning to let everybody out and clean, and Charlotte looked like she had exploded. So she is heavily molting, and everybody is just cranky. They are all just grouchy, and they don't feel good, and I understand that. So I don't really want to throw the youngsters into the mix and have them get bullied more than they might normally get bullied, if they're up on the roost with the big girls. So, because once I take the brooder pen down, I don't know, they might go over there. I know Isabel is dying to get back onto the roost that the youngsters are using, because that used to be her favorite place to roost. So she's definitely going to go over there and get in the mix with them. So I just don't want to do that while everybody is a little more grouchy than normal. I am hoping that this molt is going to just move on. I've mentioned it in a previous video that I've never had chicken smolt in the summer. Well, I have also had a first here. My pullets are also molting. They are 15 weeks old. And I've seen people say it in the chicken groups that I'm in, and I literally honestly thought, maybe you've got mites. Like, there's no way they're molting at that age. Well, they're molting. So it's been just a strange summer. But everybody's just not 100%. You know, I've mentioned in a video the other day that I have one that's sneezing. She's doing really, really well. I've only heard a handful of sneezes out of her, maybe 3 or 4 sneezes in the past couple of days. So she's already on the mend, but I know when they molt, they just don't feel good. And so I don't think it's a good time. If I can get to next week and everybody is doing better and a little, you know, growing the feathers back and starting to feel a little bit more themselves, then I'm going to go ahead and take the brooder pen down, because I have things I need to do in there, and I want that thing down too. I just don't want to, you know, I never want to rush things with the putting together the youngsters and the bigs. But I also have realized that, you know, if everybody's a little crankier than normal and I have to go somewhere with Mark, then everybody has to be contained together. And if they're not going to get along in tighter quarters, it's still a big space, but I don't want to press things. So I'm going to give it another week, and it'll be sort of my normal schedule anyway. But once the brooder pen is down, I'm going to get in there, and I think I'll videotape it. I'll probably just speed it up, but I'm going to get in there and do a deep clean. I do it a couple of times a year where I just get in there and I take, you know, everything out. I'm not going to take the roosts out, but I'm going to get in there and I'm going to take the nest boxes out and just scrub the place down, get the floor good and clean, get my walls good and cleaned, and the nest boxes, take them out here and get them in the sunshine and get them cleaned up really good. And then I'll, you know, put new ground cover down and everything and get ready for the fall and the winter that'll be coming up. And it's one of those things too, like, we had this wonderful little fake fall last week, and we had one a few weeks ago before that, and we don't get that in the South. It was in the 70s. I mean, for people that have that kind of weather, I am jealous, because we get that a little bit in the spring for a minute, and then we get that for a minute in the fall, and then that's it. You know, it's just summertime. So it has been wonderful, but summer is back, and it is in the 90s today, and I don't want to have to do all that work when it's 90-something degrees. So I think next week we're supposed to have a little bit cooler weather again, and I'll be able to get in there and get all that done, because that's one of those things, like, once you start, you can't stop. You know, you got to get the nest boxes back in there, and you got to get everything put back together for that night. So I will have to get all that done as quickly as possible. So everybody's doing well. They're just molting and grouchy. And they're grouchy. I shouldn't say a lot of my girls. I have several that are just grouchy on the roost at night anyway, and so I don't want to make that worse. And then also my quail, update on them. They're doing great. If you've never seen any of my quail videos, I've got an entire playlist, but I have 6 hens and 2 roos, and they are now probably pushing 5 months old. And up until a few weeks ago, I only had 3 hens laying eggs. I don't know. I mean, like, it's been an adventure having these quail. But one more started laying, and then a few days ago, the 5th one started laying. So I've still got one that's not laying eggs. I don't know why, but I've got 5. I'm getting 5 quail eggs a day now, and that is fantastic, because it literally takes probably 4 or 5 quail eggs to make 1 egg. So, yeah, probably 4. So now I'm getting at least a reasonable amount out of the hens that I do have. Hopefully, like I said, my 6th one will start to lay. But that is my update on what's going on here, how everybody's doing, how everybody's getting along. So I am going to put out a video, maybe doing the deep clean, and then I'll put out a video when I take that brooder pen down for the final time, and everybody is just free-for-alling in there in the coop. We're going to hope it goes well. So fingers crossed, though. Wish me luck on that. I hope you guys are enjoying our content, and if you are, hit that subscribe button and notification bell and stick around so you don't miss anything. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.